Peace, family. Y'all know who it is. It's Bakari Lumumba, the progenitor of lumumbaspeaks.com, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we could gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Back with another video, but before you get started, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button, and make sure you help me out with the HBO special. That's Help Your Boy Out. We want to get to as many subscribers as possible by the end of summer, so make sure you hit the subscribe and like button and hit that notification bell. So we're here today interviewing Dynast Amir, dynamic entrepreneur, Renaissance man. In my book, we're talking about a 21st century Paul Robeson. He's going to tell us all about his groundbreaking documentary, In Search of Uhuru, Africa is the Future. So without further ado, please introduce yourself, brother.
What's up, everyone? This is Dynast Abefe Adewale Amir, and thank you for having me, Brother Lumumba. It really means a lot. And yeah, let's jump right into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I had the chance to read your bio, which is quite long. That means that you were very accomplished, right? That's what that means. So you were born in Sacramento, Sacktown, capital of California. Most people may not know that. Talk to me a little bit about what was it like growing up in Sacramento?
Sacramento was nice. Grew up middle class. Definitely got to give a big thank you to my mom, my dad, my grandmother, all of my family. I never wanted for anything. Lived a comfortable middle class life. Middle as in middle, not lower middle class, not upper middle class, but middle class life. Grew up playing sports, loved football, ran track, played football, went to Christian Brothers High School off of MLK, for people who are familiar with Sacramento. I'm a CB alum. And I overall had a great childhood experience in Sacramento, and had some great memorable times in Sacktown.
Gotcha. So you mentioned you were an athlete. You went to college. What college did you go to?
University of Georgia, in fact, where's my magazine at? University of Georgia, the national champions. Hold on, where's my magazine at? Oh man, where'd my magazine go? If I had it, I was gonna pull it up, but I had like the special. Oh, here we go, right here. So I went to the University of Georgia, the national champions, everyone.
Okay, very good. Well, listen,
national champions football.
Ohio State University, and we're going to take it this year. Okay, so
ain't gonna happen. Listen, national championship is going through Athens, Georgia. So I'm sorry, y'all might not even make it out of the Big Ten this year. Y'all might not even beat
all cap. That's all cap. But so you were a football and track athlete at UGA, yes?
Correct. My football career was cut short. Had a knee injury. So my football career was cut short. Ran track though, and did okay in track. Once I dislocated my knee, it kind of affected affected me overall as far as my ability and capability to compete. I still competed, but not at the level that you could. I should have before my injury.
So, and tell me this. This is my curiosity because I played football, ran track as well. What position did you play in football? And of course, what heat or meet did you participate in track and field?
Primarily the 4x1 and 100 for track and field. And in football, I was recruited as a running back, but ended up switching to DB.
Very good. So I played wide receiver, and then I ran the 400. So I used to kill them on that back 100. I used to get them, boy. That last yeah. Very good. So you graduate, I presume.
University of Georgia, degree in agricultural business.
Okay, and then you said you make a move to corporate America. So we hear a lot about corporate America. Black people say this isn't the space for us. It's toxic. The level of whiteness that you had to deal with is pervasive. What was your experience like in corporate America? Because from reading your bio, you were very successful.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in corporate America, I made the most of it. I think the objective of corporate America, which should be the objective of corporate America, or working a job, is to make money, make an income, leveraging that job and then leverage that income to build on your own or build your own business or feed your whatever you want to do as an entrepreneur. So that's what I did.
Okay.
You know, they say that. Say that again.
You sound like Carter G. Woodson. He talks about that in Miseducation of the Negro.
Okay. Yeah. So this idea of a glass ceiling and, you know, being as an African American Black male or Black person in general working for corporate America, that, you know, when it comes to leadership roles in that C-suite, you don't see us up there. I don't think it was never intended for us to be in those roles anyway. And I think we should be more focused on taking that income, leveraging that salary and building something else on your own. Then you could call yourself the boss and make moves and hire others. Okay. And provide opportunities. Now, that's not the case for everyone. You know, some people are going to work for corporate America and retire. But, you know, for me, you know, I knew, you know, working a job for 30, 35 years and retiring, I just think that's a waste of talent, you know, especially when you're building someone else's business or industry, when you should be building yours and feeding and building your dream. So, you know, worked in corporate America, I guess around 10 years. Okay. Because I had a gap because I pursued the entertainment industry a little bit. I was modeling and acting. Now that I would say was probably way more racist, the entertainment industry. Really? Than actual. I remember one day, I remember I kept going to these casting calls. Right. And they were like, we have enough people that look like you. And I didn't like, I understood, but I didn't understand. Right. And so one day I remember I go into a modeling agency and the lady, she's like, because I went before. And so usually, you know, you give them your book, they look at it, you know, the guy who takes your book, he'll go in the back, I guess, talk to the agents. Then he'll come back out and either tell you to come in and meet the agents or, sorry, you know, you're good. We got enough people that look like you. You just take your book back and you go. So I remember the guy comes back out with my book. He says, you know, the agent wants to meet with you in the back. You know, she come on in. And I went in the back and, you know, the lady was like, look, you know, I'm just going to be honest. You know, we got enough people that look like you. And I'm like, what does that mean? She was like, we got enough Black people on the roster. And I'm like, well, do we all look the same? You know, and she gave me the PC answer, but, you know, and then I was like, okay, you know, I know what this is. Yeah, my time here as far as pursuing this is done. I might as well just go back to corporate America and make my money and focus on other things. So, but yeah, I just think, I mean, you gotta understand, when it comes to Hollywood, I mean, Black folks was still not too long ago was still crying Oscars so white. Right. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, that amount of Black star power and wealth that's been made in Hollywood, how about you just build your own? Look at what Tyler Perry did. Exactly. And that's supposed to ultimately be the goal anyway. So right, but for some, that's not the goal for some odd reason. Right. Look at Nollywood and what they're able to do. So, and even now, the route I wish I would have went, but I just didn't have the foresight. You see people like King Caron and I forgot the other guy's name, Big Jaw, I forgot his name, but they're just pretty much getting their cell phone, doing little skits. Shooting movies. They got millions of subscribers. They make it money. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And they're funny as well. So we're talking about little mini sitcoms and they doing a thing. Absolutely. Right. So my thing is like that, I should have, now having foresight now, looking back, I'm like, man, maybe I should have went that route. But if I would have went that route, there'd probably be no In Search of Uhuru. So. Understood. And we're going to get to that. So you eventually, you leave corporate America. Why did you make that? So you kind of went into why you made that decision. So when you leave corporate America, you went on a journey in terms of traveling to the continent. How many times have you been in Africa? Well, actually, I started traveling to the continent while I was still at corporate America. Okay. Yeah, so 2011 was the first time I actually traveled to Africa. And in 2011, was hitting full stride as far as the corporate America, was bringing in some decent bonus checks. And I asked, I told him a friend of mine, Fitzgerald Stevens, like, hey, I'm making good money. He's like, go take a vacation. And me, I was always work, even work through vacation, no days off, work. And he was like, go take a vacation. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Brazil. So I had it lined up. I was going to Rio, give me some big booty Brazilian chicks. I have fun, you know, Ipanema, you know, get me a suite. All my homeboys say, man, go to Brazil, go to Rio, get you some Brazilian girls, some Brazilian chicks, get you a suite for dirt cheap and have fun. So I was about to do that. But the girl I was going to go with, she's Brazilian. She backed out.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, where I'm going to go? So I called another friend of mine, Yishak Abraham. And he was like, go to Tanzania. I was like, Tanzania? So I started researching Tanzania, and the island Zanzibar came up.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
And Zanzibar at the time was the name of a club in LA, in Santa Monica. So I said, okay, that's confirmation. So I went. That was 2011, and I just had the time of my life. So I looked forward. I worked and looked forward to vacation every December. So every December, I was going to take off and go to Africa. And I looked forward, I couldn't wait. Like when I returned from vacation back to America from where I was at in Africa, I was already planning the next one next December, and just I couldn't wait. So that's like what I look forward to every year, was my December hiatus to Africa. So
understood. So part of your work is about us reconnecting with our roots, taking a Sankofa type perspective, right? Returning and retrieving that which we have lost in order to move forward. But there are some people out there,
the sound went out.
So there are some movements out there, particularly ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, and even FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, who argue that African Americans should turn away from their African history, heritage, and culture and forge a new identity. What do you say to that?
Well, I'll say this. By definition...
You're muted.
Oh, am I muted? You can't hear me? You can't hear me? Did you say I'm muted?
Okay, we're good now. I don't know how it happened, but...
Okay. All right, well, by definition, I'm ADOS FBA, by definition, but I'm Africa first. This is the reality of it. So you have ADOS FBA. You have some people claiming to be Native Americans now. And then you have some groups, right. And then you have some groups claiming to be Hebrews or Israelites.
This is true.
The primary reason why is when you think of America and you think of Israel, these are probably the two most powerful countries in the world, and people want to be attached to that.
This is
and
true.
So they're making up all types of ways to say, you know what, this is our home. We're attached to this. You know, this is who we are. Because at the end of the day, they want to be connected to that, attached to that power. Yeah. So that's I think the reason behind all this stuff. And then when you think of West Africa, I mean, what do you think? Poverty, slavery, countries aren't stable. I mean, pretty much every negative stereotype that you could think of, when, you know, for people who have not actually been to Africa, but listen to the misinformation on TV, you know, that's what they take and run with. So, you know, this idea that, well, like for reparations, is it old? Yes. Am I going to hold my breath? No. You know, like I tell people, they could cash out me my reparations, but you know, I'm not desperate for it, and to be honest with you, I'm not necessarily going to fight for it. I just don't think it's going to happen, because at the end of the day, you know, people bring up Israel and the Jews and how they got reparations for the Holocaust, how the Japanese got reparations for World War II, internment camps. They had something to leverage. They had a country of their own.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think the system, they know that Black people ain't going nowhere. You know, like, what do you guys have to leverage? I mean, you look at the benign neglect in politics, especially the Democratic Party. You know, they're like, look, we're gonna get y'all vote. We ain't gonna, you know, we'll give you guys Juneteenth. You know, we'll get y'all votes anyway. So, you know, this idea, again, by definition, I'm ADOS FBA by definition, but I'm Africa first. You know, I acknowledge my roots are from Africa. You know, I acknowledge that I have bones buried in Africa and here in America. And I acknowledge that, you know, my story, my family story is not going to end here as well. So, I mean, good luck to them. You know, hope everything works out. You never know. Because I'll benefit from it. Whatever comes from it, I'll benefit from it. But for the most part, this ADOS FBA movement that you see online is primarily entertainment, a lot of cracking jokes.
I've seen a lot of, I've seen it even go to the standpoint of actually them parroting some white supremacist viewpoints, right? Particularly, I've been seeing some posts where individuals who were part of these movements actually were calling brothers and sisters from the continent baboons, right? Using that type of rhetoric. So then it almost came off as there was a very strong sense of self-abnegation where they were trying to extremely distance themselves. And in doing so, it really was reflective of their own self-hatred.
Right.
So I think that's an issue as well, but we're kind of going to move forward. Your documentary, what inspired your documentary In Search of Uhuru? And so, of course, for people who do not know, Uhuru is Kiswahili for
freedom.
Absolutely.
So in 2011, when I first went to Africa, I went to Tanzania. I remember flew in, we landed to Julius Nyerere Airport. And like the first culture shock that I had was there was no like, you know, the bridge that brings you to the plane. I forgot what it's called, not the tarmac, but the little, yeah. So we got off the plane on the tarmac and walked into where you get your visa immigration done. So I remember walking in, no AC, it was hella hot. I remember I go get my took about an hour and a half to get my passport stamped. I had to pay for my visa. I got my visa there, passport stamped, whatever. And then I remember going to baggage claim, getting my bag. And I remember walking out of the airport with my bags in tow. And, you know, the locals, they ran up to me. They started speaking Swahili. And I'm like, I don't understand. And they're like, where are you from? And then they started guessing because I'm speaking English. They're like, are you from South Africa? I said, no. They said, Ghana? I said, no. He said, Nigeria. At the time, you know, I didn't have my Nigerian nationality. So I was like, no. They said, where are you from? I said, I'm Black American. They're like, okay, well, what tribe are you from? And I said, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. And they were like, they like, and then what I immediately noticed is they don't really teach the slave trade over there. And I had to explain to them that, like, you know, my ancestors were taken from here years ago, kidnapped and stripped of everything. So, you know, I explained that to them and they said, well, you know, welcome home, brother. And so that kind of put me on this journey to uncover my roots. And in uncovering that, like, I would experience this freedom. So that's where In Search of Uhuru came from, because Tanzania is a Swahili speaking country. That's the first African language that I, you know, was exposed to. And so that's why Search of Uhuru, In Search of Freedom.
Absolutely. So why is Africa the future?
I mean, everything's shifting towards Africa. Africa is a upcoming market. It's a growing market. I mean, all our resources are in Africa.
This is true.
I think the population of Africa is supposed to have the most people under 30, either now or coming up in the next 10 years on the planet.
Okay.
The amount of growth that's going on in Africa. And then, you know, I tell people, First time I went to Africa, especially West Africa, like there were no white people on the plane. It was all black.
Right. It ain't
Now,
like that.
it ain't like that now. It ain't like that now.
It ain't like that now.
Yeah, even with Sierra Leone. First time I went to Sierra Leone, the hotel I stayed at, this was December 2019. It was no white people in the hotel. Now, white, Chinese, Indian, Asian,
Right.
everybody's
they
there.
get that bad.
Right. And so as far as just business opportunities, and then at the end of the day, Africa is your birthright. It's your home.
Right.
You have as much claim to the continent as a diasporan as people who were born there.
Right.
So like I said, as far as opportunities, everything is shifting to Africa, our upcoming economies. And then it's your birthright. And you see what's going on here in America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as inflation, cost of everything going up. You know, when I was in corporate America, I made decent money, pretty good money when I was working in corporate America. And I remember I was looking to buy a house in LA. And I could have afforded one at the time back in 2013, 2014, but I would have got more bang for my buck in Atlanta, because Atlanta in 2014 was what they consider it was still cheap.
Right.
Now,
and it's a smaller market. Yeah.
And it's a smaller market, but now, I don't know, like with the amount of money I was making in corporate America and how much houses are now, I don't know. I'm like, who's buying these houses?
Right.
You know, so also too, our people, because we're going to feel the brunt of it, blunt. Yeah, we're going to feel it the most. As far as Black people, we're being priced out. Like in Manhattan, right. in New York, you got to make $160K a year. They're saying to rent now.
Yeah, now they call it Northern Manhattan. Right. And, you know, they're H&M and Banana Republic, you know, they're actually pricing brothers and sisters out of Harlem. I mean, I was there, 10 years ago, 15, then 5 years ago. You go now, it doesn't look the same.
Right. So our people are being priced out as well. So, you know, you have to understand, like, look, okay, you might be priced out of America, but you're going to have to be open to opportunities outside of America. You know, you have to be open to other options in regards to ownership outside of America. A lot of us are going to be forced to, like, you're going to be forced to, you know, just because you're priced out of America doesn't necessarily mean that you can't build a legacy or leave an inheritance for your family outside of America. I'm sorry. Just because you're priced out inside of America, that should not stop you from still wanting to leave an inheritance or a legacy for your family outside of America.
Right. And then
so a lot of us are going to be, that's the reality. A lot of us, that's going to be the only option. Right.
And I think the other issue is, I mean, it's a global economy now.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, you might as well take advantage of globalization, right? So I think that's a great point as well. So tell us when and where does your film premiere?
So it's going to premiere the last day of this month, which is the 30th, I believe, or the 31st?
Yes.
The 30th. Right. 30. Go to searchforuhuru.com. Again, visit searchforuhuru.com. You'll be able to purchase it from there. It might link back to YouTube, but just go to searchforuhuru.com and all the information on how to purchase will be there. And again, Africa is your birthright. So that's your home. So, you know, you building your legacy or leaving your legacy or inheritance outside of Africa, that's completely fine. That's your birthright for your family. So, but yeah, but searchforuhuru.com. That's where it's going to be available at. And also, I just released the trailer today, so the trailer is available on my YouTube page. The trailer for the film. So
wonderful. So I'm going to ask you this question before we get into last words, last thoughts, final thoughts. And you talked a little bit about in the political sphere about benign neglect. You talked about them giving us symbolic victories such as Juneteenth.
And you know what's funny? I'm sorry, not to cut you off. So. Today in Atlanta on Friday in my neighborhood is garbage pickup day. And so I'm like, okay, Juneteenth's a federal holiday. They're probably not going to pick up the trash today. So I didn't worry about, I wasn't really pressed to move my trash can from my backyard to the front yard. I heard it like I'm down here, like in my office, like my dining room / office. I do everything here. And I hear the trash trucks, coming down the street. I peek out the window. I'm like, oh, I thought today was a federal holiday. So I ran to my backyard and brought the trash can out front. And I was like, man, it was 3 brothers. I'm like, man, they didn't give y'all today off. Y'all gotta work on Juneteenth. They was like, yeah, man, we gotta work on Juneteenth. So I don't know if today's the federal holiday or if it's Monday.
It's the 19th, I believe.
Is it Monday? Because I remember last year it was the Friday.
Yeah, I know. I remember that as well. Maybe they're still figuring it out, but I know for me, working in higher ed, we have the next Monday off, the 20th.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, all right, so it's the 20th. All right, cool. Yeah,
so
man, they didn't get
what are your thoughts about Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday?
I mean, you get a day off. I mean, I work for myself, so I'm gonna be probably working. I'll enjoy the festivities. As we all have before it became right. Exactly. So I'll enjoy the festivities, but I mean, you get a day off, so I guess you get a day of freedom from work.
Right.
But what really shocked me was, the amount of Black people had no clue about Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Had absolutely no clue. So I guess it brings awareness, but I mean, it's symbolic. And if you see what's going on in our communities now, especially here in Atlanta, I mean, you get a day off. I don't know how that's going to move the needle for anything. Other issues that are more prevalent and more important, but you get a day off. Which who's going to be mad at a day off? So
yeah, it kind of reminds me of W.B. Du Bois when he stated that when he talked about our ancestors and when they celebrated the end of slavery, he said they had their moment in the sun when they were able to experience Jubilee. Then they went right back, of course, into what? Slavery. And we're talking about sharecropping, of course, Black code, so on and so forth. And that system of social control that's been dogging us since we got here. But enough with that, because that could be a mouthful. How can people get in contact with you?
Go to dynastaamir.com. Just go to dynastaamir.com, first name, last name, send me a message, and I'll reach out. I'll reach back out.
And the final thoughts I'm going to give you the floor.
One more time. Yeah, I froze up a little bit. Say that again.
Final thoughts.
I just appreciate the support. Guys, make sure you go out there and support the documentary. I really think my story is unique. Not to minimize anyone else's, return back home to Africa story or experience, but I don't think anyone has had a experience like mine. So, and I was able to put that on film and present it to everybody. So, please go support it, go buy it, and once again, thank you for having me. And, I appreciate everyone who watches this and supports the film.
No problem. And I appreciate you taking time out of your day to make this happen. You all know what to do. Make sure that you always bet on Black. Hit the subscribe and like button. Make sure you support our strong brother, his documentary, In Search of Uhuru, Africa is the Future. Until next time, you all know what to do.
It's In Search of Uhuru, one man's journey to recover his African roots. And I just got the Africa is the Future. No, it's all good. It's all good.
It's African roots.
Okay.
All right. Until next time, you all know what to do. Peace.